Okay, so what we have in the school, we have these little soft boxes. These are very nice little handy lights. So if they come in these little bags, and it's called Mountain Dog is the brand. We have two sets of these. What they basically are, you've probably seen. They look a little bit like an umbrella. Hold on. They come with two light stands. Hopefully you guys have seen a light stand before. If not, you can figure out how to open a light stand. But basically you pull the legs out a little bit. There's a little screw here, a key screw, and you open it up. And we also have in the lab, just loose in there. I don't think I have them on the checkout list. These are sandbags, production sandbags. And whenever you put up a light, from a safety perspective, you want to make sure that you're going to sandbag the stand so that it can't topple over and conk somebody in the head or break the light itself. So these sandbags basically go over the legs of the. Can you see that? Over the legs of the light stand. These are a little big for the size light stands that we have, but they're kind of industry standard things. Sometimes I have a bunch here in my studio. Sometimes they're blue. And I have these little ankle weights, which I prefer to use on these small light stands because they're smaller and they fit better. These soft boxes aren't very heavy, so they don't require a ton of weight to hold them down. But in general, it's a good practice to always try to, weight the stand. Okay, so now inside the package, there's going to be this, which is basically the umbrella. And there's a piece of diffusion material as well. So here's what you want to do with this. Take the diffusion material, set it aside for a second. This is the umbrella, and basically you're going to go inside. If you can see inside here, there's a little spring-loaded casing that will surround the light, and you just push it down around the socket, snap it into place, and now you have basically what looks like a square umbrella. And then underneath attached to the thing, there's a little anchor, little holster that you can attach to the light stand. Tighten the key on it. There's also, you can adjust it up and down. Tighten the key on that as well. The cable's not very long. You're probably going to need to have an extension cord to make that work. And there are extension cords that you can also check out. There's usually a handful just laying around in the lab as well. Now there are also these are the light bulbs, and when you check it out, they'll be hopefully packaged up like this. And before you return it, I want you to take the bulb out of the umbrella and package it back inside the styrofoam. And these are basically just LED fluorescent tube lights. You just screw them into the socket like you would any other light. Okay, and then there's a Velcro attachment and there's little corners on these things. So you'll take the corners and fix them right here. And then you can stick the Velcro on the sides. All right, watch yourselves. And then you turn the light on. You pivot that around a bit. What's nice about a softbox is that it essentially, because of the diffusion material on the outside of the light, it casts a nice soft light. So let's spin it around here. So if you look here on the background, there's not a lot of shadow. This webcam does not do a good job handling this much light. I apologize, but basically it creates just a soft filtered light source for what you're doing, which is good. And a lot of the things you're doing, because we're trying to create content that is essentially, we're not really drawing too much attention to the light. We're trying to draw attention to the subject matter. So things like interviews, simple testimonials, documentary style elements, having a nice diffused light is a good way to light things because it doesn't create too many shadows, things like that. We'll get into talking a little bit at the end of the semester about 3-point lighting, which is designed to kind of replicate what you see with sunlight and sort of natural sources. And we'll talk about backlight. We'll talk about, a main key light and a fill light and that kind of thing. But for the purposes of the kind of things you're doing, if you're working on something where you need some light just to brighten up the scene, or you're doing something, in a dark corner of a hallway or something, a softbox is a great way to go. It's a very simple way to light some things, get nice, even, easy to work with light that kind of dresses up your subject in a way that looks good and feels good without too many harsh shadows or hot spots or things like that. It makes it easier to work with and shoot with. There are 2 of those that you can check out. Be aware that we also have just some real serious light kits in there that have a bunch of high-end fixtures and are not designed to be used as a softbox. So I'm not really expecting you guys or even encouraging you guys to check those out now, just because I think they're a little bit beyond the scope of this class. If you get real excited about this and hey, I'd like to check it out just to look at it and play around, and you've suddenly become, gung-ho about doing video stuff, let me know. I'm happy for you guys to check that stuff out. But for now, it's not something you're going to want to use for this class.